This show is a member of the Sorgatron Media Podcast Network. Find out more at sorgatronmedia.com. This show is brought to you by IndyWrestling.us. Check out IWC, RWA, and more. And listeners like you, support this show at patreon.com/Wrestling Mayhem Show.
Hungry as fuck, but I ain't starving yet. Chain for the pain, cocktail dog set. Never said I was a gangster or thug, but I'm an animal. Beat for the taste of the blood.
Hey guys, it is the Indy Mayhem Show. Mike Sorg at Sorgatron on the Twitter here in the Sorgatron Media Studio in Pittsburgh, PA. Here on this Wednesday night is, I feel like I do need to date everything. This is March 18th. Somebody's talking on the other line. It is March 18th, and we're going to have a good conversation here tonight with a couple of guests. But first, please go check out everything at WrestlingMayhemShow.com, IndyWrestling.us. Check out all the great past interviews and other podcasts going on. And if you're looking for something to do, we got a lot of wrestling podcasts and wrestling shows for you to check out as well. If you've been meaning to catch up on things, it's a good time for that for all the providers, and I hope you guys check us out too. And thank you for being here with us, and in this instance as well. So, like I said, we got a little bit of a panel here tonight. I have an open invite for to kind of talk about what's going on in the wrestling business again. We're all on day 3, 4, whatever lockdown, self quarantine, and we have a couple of guests. First of all, joining us, the Rev Ron Hunt.
Oh yeah. I'm hearing my bang, man. This is like my baby bottle. This is how I'm getting through like all of this quarantine crap.
Yeah.
I got a bang. So if you don't want to see me cry, just send some bang my way. Dayton, Ohio.
Hey, Rev, I'm actually working with a client that has a bang sponsorship, and I'm trying to figure out how we work it in with the wrestlers.
I am so jealous. If they figure out a way, tell them to hit up Dave Chris, because we're all trying to get like our whole crew up here sponsored by Bang. So even when we do Twitch, because so there's actually a thing. We play Town of Salem every Tuesday.
Okay.
Clearly now we couldn't play it, but every single Tuesday we play it, and we're trying to get like a Bang sponsorship or work something out with them because we all drink it like it's water. So if you figure out a way, Sorg, listen, you are a Bang god. We'll join you on too.
I think I have some ideas, but it depends on how good you look in a bikini or shorts. So so that's the first thing. So I'm out entirely. But anyways, also with us, Zeke Mercer, more locally here in the greater Pittsburgh area.
Oh my God, am I?
Yes.
I thought it was known as the kid who gets his ass beat every other week.
What's that?
I thought it was known as the kid gets his ass beat every other week.
Yeah. The guy.
That's just my gimmick now.
Exactly. And now you're just like the kid that stays at home every other week and just like, oh, isn't this nice?
Yeah, that's nice now.
So
bye.
So I wanted to walk through, I guess, first again, to kind of qualify our conversation today. Again, we're kind of amid these self-quarantine, social distancing orders for closed social businesses across, at least here in Pennsylvania. Ohio, I know, has been really big with it lately too. And I'm going to close Facebook so that I stop getting those message dings over there. But sorry about this. Sorry, Bradley. But anyways, But yeah, you guys, Zeke, you're a college student. Rev, we know, if anybody follows you on social media, they know that you work with the news out there in Dayton, Ohio, as well. So, and a lot of wrestlers are not as lucky in your situation, of course. That some of them don't have day jobs, and that's a very real thing. So I just want to put that in framing for tonight's discussion. First of all, for you guys, I kind of want to step through. Things happened fast last week through the cancellations, through I think probably Wednesday or Tuesday. I think I heard the first ones with schools closing down and shows happening at schools going along with them. Rev, let's go with you first. Like, kind of how did last week kind of unfold for you going into the weekend? Because I know you're I don't know about everywhere, and I know you work with Rockstar Pro out there in Dayton.
Yeah, I mean, it was one of those things. It was kind of like a domino effect. I think a lot of us were like, okay, this is a situation that we have to monitor seriously. Not only like inside within like news and everything, but clearly anyone that's in the professional wrestling business. Because what we do, we're in close contacts with a lot of people, both in the ring, we're physically in contact, skin to skin with people, while we're sweating and everything, but then also in regards of how many fans you have at every show. So it kind of started with the domino effect. Some shows were up in the air at that present time, but then I guess as things got seriously, especially within Ohio, we had a few things kind of build up, and more people were under under health evaluations. And then slowly but surely, it started hitting different counties within Ohio. And then also clearly with some things coming across within Pennsylvania, because you guys know I still maintain a lot of my bookings in Pennsylvania. So at first it was kind of up in the air, but then honestly, it was like as soon as I got wind of one thing canceling, then it was another thing, then another thing. And I think I posted on my Facebook at one time, just within a 48-hour period, I had about 4 to 6 shows cancel on me just within a 48-hour period. And I know what a lot of people are, kind of thinking, okay, well, a lot of us don't rely on this just as our own independent salary, our own independent booking. But as you begin to get a little bit of a continuation or a consistency within booking, you can kind of calculate in your mind average of how much extra money you are getting.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times that extra money builds up, and a lot of us depend on that extra money. So for me, I think the main thing was, kind of the health and safety first, but also, in a selfish side with me, I cannot tell you the last time that I probably went even just 2 straight weeks without wrestling. Wrestling to me is like therapeutic. I've been doing it for quite some time. It's been that thing that's kind of stuck around with me. And it's kind of weird. I was telling some people at work, like, I don't know what it's like to have a normal life. Like when I'm actually off, I'm off now. Like, I don't know what to do. I can't even go to the gym. Like, I'm like, what the hell? So it's one of those things that it takes a little bit to get used to. And then, I said, well, at least I got, at least I had my ROH bookings. They had Vegas. They were supposed to have LA last week. Coming up this week, we were supposed to be in, I'm not sure if this week or next week, but we had Pittsburgh. We had Columbus on April 10th, April 11th. Right now, they're completely cleared. All ROH dates right now, tentatively, are just postponed all the way up until like the end of May. So we might not even do anything until about, was it April, May, June, probably like June or July or so, give or take.
Yeah.
So now I'm like, I can't even go to the gym. Like, what do I do? It's weird. It's very weird.
Yeah, and of course, and you saw things again being on the news side too, so you got to see again, say ground zero. You probably saw everything come in as it was happening.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things that we are closely monitoring. When I tell you, like, our emails are flooding, I guarantee if I just hold my phone like this, it'll probably light up in a matter of like 2 minutes. And typically what we're looking at is, what type of press conferences are happening locally, what press conferences are happening regionally, within our state, and then also what's happening, nationally and internationally when it comes to words that we're getting from our White House and things that are tentatively being used or processes that people are looking to go through. So it's one of those things that, I know in the popularity of opinion, a lot of people say, well, the media is overhyping this. When I tell you we're taking just as much as safety precautions with us, even being in a newsroom as we are, out there out there telling the public, that's the exact thing. Even yesterday, we had something coming from the CISA saying, hey, if we get that worse and, you get pulled over because they want people to stay inside, we have paper that says like, hey, we're allowed to be out on the road. We have to get to work because our main importance is to get that information out to the public. So even just within my job, even this cool gizmo, I might honestly keep this up here because even with us, they're looking at self-quarantining us.
Yeah.
So the only people that are allowed to be in the newsroom right now are your anchors or your producers, those that have to run the in-studio equipment.
Yeah.
For the reporters that are out in the field, for the camera people, we're asked to edit in our trucks. If we're AMJing, if we're one-man banding it, we're asked to get our stuff and come back home and edit from at home and try to keep as less people in contact with each other as much as possible. And then even if we are in contact with each other, have that 6-foot difference, like we've been stating all across the world. So we're definitely monitoring this very seriously. And, I say from a media aspect of things and from sorry about that, lost me. But from a media aspect of things and also from a wrestling aspect of things, the safety and priority of people's safety is the utmost importance to all of us, honestly.
Absolutely. Zeke, you're coming at us from kind of a student perspective here. Can you tell how wrestling and if you even want to talk personally, kind of how things unfolded for you here last week?
Wrestling wise, same as Rev here. Everything was like shut down.
Mm-hmm.
I just got confirmed April, so like definitely up in the air. And so I was like, okay, so I'm basically just a normal person for the next 8 to 10 weeks. That's gonna be weird because that's like I don't know how I live like that. The last 2 years has been like, I'm a college student, but I'm also a wrestler.
Mhm.
So now I'm just like, am I even a college student? So I guess I'm an online college student now. So it's like I'm like, okay, so like I'm just a normal kid now. And personally, just moved my girlfriend out of her dorm. She drove back to her home, so she's back safe. And I helped like 6 other friends move out of their dorms.
Mhm.
It's just I don't
Oh,
know.
you're a lonely man,
I
Zeke.
am a
You're a
lonely
lonely.
man. My roommates all moved out.
It sounds like you need a hug, but none of us can hug you because we're
No,
all.
no.
We gotta keep. I don't want to get sick. If you cough from me, I got Indy. I don't know how.
That's what I think. So, there been an order? So, is there been an order for you to move out of dorms at this point, or?
Yeah, it's highly encouraged. Where I am right now, I kind of live in an apartment like
Yeah.
dorm. So like they came in the kid because I already paid the rent, all right. So so they're just encouraged me to move out. But on the main campus, it's deserted. 28 days later, it's just I've been there today, and like, I'm still seeing people move out. So
Mhm.
everyone's still moving out. So yeah, everything's shut down.
Mhm.
My girlfriend's school's pretty much shut down. Everyone's just going back home. College towns are pretty much desolate. I
Yeah.
can tell you that.
Yeah.
So it's weird. It's weird. It's weird. It's weird seeing a college town desolate. If it's
Yeah,
not
it's
Christmas or summer, it's kind of weird. Like
no, I fully agree with you. I think like one of my stories before was just kind of how restaurants were reacting to it because the governor up here, Governor Mike DeWine for the state of Ohio, he ordered all restaurants and bars to close indefinitely. By Sunday at 9 p.m., they're shutting down things. So, from a non-media perspective, I was joking. I said the Grinch stole Christmas and coronavirus stole St. Patrick's Day. So we had a bunch of ticked off people
Mhm.
that couldn't drink, the students that couldn't go home, cough cough, Zeke Mercer, they couldn't go out. Hey, Zeke, are you still 12 or how old are you now?
I'm 14 now, man. You skipped.
Oh man,
years.
you're growing up. All right, we won't go to jail for getting you beat up part of the Jesus Club as much now, but yeah, for students that are still on campus, I mean, it's like okay, well, no class. Well, some friends are home. Well, at least I could party with the very few that are here on St. Patrick's Day, and it's like no, because bars are indefinitely closed.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's like I can agree with Zeke. I mean, it's definitely a crazy thing. They canceled the whole tournament up here, and the University of Dayton men's basketball team were doing pretty good.
Yeah.
They completely just X'd out the whole season right now.
Yeah, it happened across the board with sports and everything.
Yeah.
This is a question that I've had in your first. I haven't seen this mentioned, but in your case, is wrestling training also canceled for you guys, or that you've heard for across the board too?
Zeke, you want to go first? You want me to go first?
I mean, I think you should go first because you're.
All right, yeah, because Zeke probably doesn't go to training.
Oh, I've heard.
No, he goes every now and then. I know with us from up here because I'm one of the assistant trainers with Dave, Chris, Samantha Heights, and Crash Jackson. Our main thing was we have to cancel in personal training.
Yeah.
But we still have a Skype and Facebook video chat with all the students. And then we also have a Discord message as well. So we kind of dish out the homework assignments from there, some matches to watch, break down the matches for us. Send in your promos and everything. So me, I actually just called out 2 of our new students. I'm about to post a video to Twitter, but I told them, I said, listen, I got nothing better to do, baby. We're going to go on TikTok. So we're going to we're having a TikTok promo battle because I want to get warmed up to it. And we're going to keep going back and forth. So I posted an introduction one like a couple hours ago. But I think it's one of those things to where, I mean, it sucks to not have matches and even, being able to go to training, at least in my standpoint, to, kind of hone some new skills. But at the same time, we don't want to get stagnant. We want to keep our minds stimulated, just like anything else that we do, schoolwork, work, and everything like that.
Yeah.
And so we're trying to adapt on like the east side, the electronic side of things, and kind of keep wrestling on their brain, even though right now they can't physically do things.
Mm-hmm. I'd say there's a little bit of response here in the chat room. Dean Radford says Zeke absolutely does not go to training, so that's been confirmed. And Emmy award-winning Jordan Styles, of course, I know I've seen him on social media talking about editing a lot of coronavirus stories. He says even locally at his TV station, they've been separating with A lot of people being sent home as well. I know our local CBS station. I watched the beginning of it, and they talked about Monday how there was nobody in the studio, like you mentioned, nothing but like him, the producer, and the op. All the crammers are robots, so you don't have to worry about that too much. So, oh my God, Rev and TikTok, says Marina in the chat.
You should see about St. Patrick's Day one. I had a makeshift kilt on, so it's
dude, I can't go on TikTok no more because every time I go on TikTok, there's at least 2 Rev videos I see. I was like, I can't, like, I can't.
Hey, you gotta do it. You gotta do what you gotta do, man. People want more Rev TikToks. I'm trying to get some like stock or some sharehold in it.
So what do you the training, obviously, what do you guys, first weekend in, what did you kind of do to keep yourself sane in not going out to shows at this point?
I moved people out. That was my weekend.
You were busy. You were lifting stuff. He doesn't train, but he's going to lift some dressers, right?
Yeah, dressers and boxes. Like that's how I did.
You got his workout in.
I don't body slam people, but I pack cars.
I buy some crap. I have a box real quick. But yeah, that's all I did was like move people out. And then Monday morning, I just I got nothing to do. I just slept.
Don't you have classes? Don't you have online classes to attend?
It doesn't start yet. Not for me.
Oh, they're still. Well, they're probably they're still converting, right?
Yeah, we're still taking time to go for other classes. So I'm enjoying my break. Technically, my break. But I'm losing my mind.
He's probably eating like an unlimited supply of ramen noodles right now.
Oh,
I hate ramen noodles. I hate ramen. I can't do it. I don't say everyone else do it. It's disgusting.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things for me, like Zeke. I was like, I'm actually catching up on sleep. So technically, today and tomorrow are actually one of my off days. A lot of you guys who know me personally know I really don't stop. So an off day from work is really just another day for me to pack it with something else. So typically today will be a show day because we have TV tapings with Rockstar Pro. Thursday we're typically, I'll be chilling with like Dave, and then we'll probably hit the gym, do a bunch of shenanigans that day. And then, Friday I'm right back at it again, and the weekends and everything. So it's kind of weird for me to actually be off and I get to do what normal humans do and just sit around and binge watch shows. So with me, I'm like binge watching like a bunch of like Travel Channel and like ghost hunting paranormal shows, believe it or not.
What's that like? What's just sitting around? I haven't sat around for a while. When I do, I get yelled at with my girlfriend. Like, why don't you go do something? It's like, my back hurt. I ain't going nowhere.
Wait a minute. Zeke's talking like an old man over there.
Just
give me like 6 months. I'll be walking around with the cane because I took too many stupid bumps. Just too many stupid bumps.
Wait, what?
I said, just give me like 6 months. I'll be walking around with the cane.
Okay. So Sorg, what I'm gonna need you to do, I'm just gonna need you to clip this part.
Okay.
Because I'm gonna send it to like Quinn and Dean and Paul Atlas and all the other legends in our area. And yeah. So Zeke, what you're saying is your bump card is almost expired already.
Oh, what is my plan?
You're 2 years in the business.
I'm not even 2 years. My 2 years is in May.
How much did that hentai match take out of you?
40 years, man. 40 years.
Jeez.
12 years off my card.
Dean's asking, Zeke, how many TikTok videos do you have to record to understand one statement?
15. Takes about 15 tries.
15 tries. Geez. Also, new merch alert. I don't body slam people. I pack cars, from Andrew in the chat room. Thank you for that.
I like that.
You go.
I like
get on
that.
your pro wrestling tees, Zeke, and get that going.
I like that.
All right.
Side note, if we could talk about that real quick. I know we're in trying times. A lot of bookings are canceled. But I had to tell Zeke, even before this whole coronavirus thing blew out of proportion, I said, Zeke,
my price?
Can you please tell me why your prices are higher than international stars on pro wrestling tees?
I said to that one thing. I didn't think it'd change it yet. My bad. I'll lower.
And then the actual shows, he only had 2 T-shirts on the table. And I asked his girlfriend, I said, Zeke has no pictures. He has 2 T-shirts. Mm-hmm. It's on this table. She's like, he's very poor. He only has $1 to travel and $1 to eat. And I was like, man, that's and now good old COVID-19 has hit you. So
it took away my 2 jobs and my wrestling. I'm broke.
Oh jeez.
I'm struggling. Put change in the Need some. You got some spare change?
It's all right, Zeke. It's all right, Zeke. Just one more time, I'll have another match with you, and I'll cut one of those 5 cents a day promos again. We'll get your stock back up.
We gotta do that for everybody now. So
I know, right?
You got bumped out to 20 cents a day. Goes longer.
Jeez.
No, you can't do 20 because people need the extra 15 cents to buy toilet paper now.
You're right.
So of course, this, if nothing else, I think we're going to see a lot of creativity. If you guys can't do it in the ring, we have the internet. There's already been some interesting live streams, broom wrestling, things like that. Is there anything you guys have been seeing out there that's like kind of stuck out to you in the wake of this, as far as people kind of making the best of a bad situation?
Warhorse with his doing real job skit. That was kind of funny to me. It's basically a video where like he just like wrestlers are doing these weird jobs, and he goes on this tangent, and he's just like, and we're back here with 99 Jams. His radio.
Yeah, he was doing like an easy listening station DJ apparently.
That made my day. I was like, I need to do something like that.
What about you, Rev?
Yeah. I think the more creative thing, and this is what I said. There's a few things I'm always optimistic about coronavirus. First of all, in the everyone else's world, even if you don't follow wrestling, I did not know that it took coronavirus COVID-19 for guys to actually start washing their hands after they went to the bathroom.
Yeah, that's a shock.
I didn't know it took all that, because if that's the case, I would have started the fake news rumor a long time ago, including wrestlers that you get in the ring with.
I don't think I've said this on the wrestling show, but I got to attend that last Full Sail University taping for NXT. With the cage matches, and after the show, everybody's going to the bathroom after the show, and there's like a guy preaching in there about, hey guys, make sure you watch it, it's here, it's happening, you know, like the dude was like cutting a promo on the bathroom about all the fans rushing their hands.
Did he have the signs like when you go on vacation, it'd be like, you know, God hates unwashed hands?
No, he's just there at the paper towels, just doing his thing and letting everybody know they got to do their thing too. So, you know, it was the wildest thing. And kind of the first, like, okay, this is real, and at least like wrestling fans are getting it, you know. So I'm hoping that's working for everybody else.
Yeah, I think one of the other things that you know, obviously, you know, we're fortunate about. I think a lot of guys, no matter where you're training at, always talk about like the importance of you know, just the importance of cutting a promo, and getting promos out there. So I know now, because a lot of companies are on a lax right now because of what we're kind of going through, and a lot of you know, promotions being temporarily shut down. They're saying we have to keep social media active. And, you know, I just got that message even from a couple companies I work with. Yeah. And, you know, with me, it's no problem. I'm like, hey, just give me a freaking energy drink and I'll cut as many promos as you want. But like with others, it's like, unfortunately, you do have to pry them. So, you know, I think that's also another optimistic thing of this. You know, we're starting to have people being forced to get out of their comfort zone and commit to getting themselves out there, cutting a promo, you know, trying to, you know, get their brand out there, you know, sell their brand to the world. And right now, we all have no other choice but to do that via social media in order to keep people out there, people active, and people invested in whatever program, whatever product you're at. So I think that's also a good optimistic side for the business. And then I know a few companies are saying, you know, simply because we can't have shows without people there. I know some are even inviting people to come in, and they're going to do like an empty arena Facebook Live one, just to still get people out there and get matches and hopefully get that brand out there, and people still get to see wrestling, you know, through the internet and everything like that. So.
Yeah, I know those discussions are happening about that, and, you know, online shows, things like that. I mean, again, with the technology, this is an opportunity, you know, to do that, and you can't disappear for 2 months, right? Somebody was like, "Hey, no wrestling shows means no pictures. It means I have nothing for social media. What do I do now?" And it's just like, hey, and I think I threw him like, here's a video show idea for you, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, just like, here, do this, you know. It was like, you know, Sean Phoenix, I'm like, you know, do a will this burn? And he's like, yeah, but you know, you're gonna get cease and desist. I'm like, oh, just name it something else. Just set some things on fire. Do a Sean Phoenix.
Just set everything on fire.
Yeah,
every single thing.
Make a whole new YouTube channel.
I mean, if Sean Phoenix over the next, you know, potentially 2 months is just putting out one video a week about how he's just burning random things to cope with things, Like that's great.
Honestly, I'm sold on it.
Yeah.
I am completely sold on it.
I mean,
I love it.
And that's it. And I think like, leaning into your character, what makes sense, what can you do? Everybody has video in their hands right now. Literally, guys, Colbert and Fallon, I'm pretty sure, are recording their shows that they're putting on television for CBS and NBC. They may have a single camera, and I still believe it might even just be an iPhone that I saw that Fallon recorded with. Like, and that's it. They're not miking. They're just doing 10 minutes of bad monologue by a fire in a bathtub with a suit on, or whatever the case may be, with his his wife laughing in the background holding the camera. It's just like an indie promo. So
For real, legit.
I mean,
I feel called out.
Yeah. Hey, sorry, I've seen a lot of indie promos where the person holding the camera is laughing at whatever's happening. It's just like, oh no. So
you're like, no.
Yes.
When I lie to you, not like with us being in the land of technology and a lot of reporters having to be a little bit creative, I lied to you not, and I'm going to try to get the video. My story yesterday, I had a call. I was going to do another story about restaurants being shut down. I get a call like 15 minutes later as I'm like already setting up this story. And my news director said, hey, so the executive producer and I had this great idea, and we think you'll be perfect for it. We want you to pick 4 items, put them on a grocery list, and see how many stores trips it takes you, and then also how long it takes you. Legit, I filmed the whole thing on my cell phone. Interviews, me talking, me driving, every single thing. I had like a minute 45 story about me shopping, trying to find toilet paper, chicken, hand sanitizer, disinfectant wipes, and some pasta noodles. I cut a promo on 4 shopping items, and it was on the news, and I recorded all with a cell phone.
I work regularly with somebody who has sponsorships that he does, and the guy will tell you he's an older Pittsburgher, and from day one, before he was starting his podcast, he talked about how technically illiterate he is. And he is taking videos, editing them. I watched him take a video, edit it on his iPhone in iMovie, and post it, and that's for sponsors. He's receiving money for this. So if and to that, Jordan's saying Al Roker is doing his job on his iPhone on the Today Show. No excuses.
See, Zeke, no excuses. Get your promos out there.
That's right. Where's your promo, Zeke? I'm still reminding you.
Zeke?
Dude, you know I can't cut a promo and say
You know what, Zeke? Here we go. On the spot. For the millions.
I'm not doing
in
it.
Millions.
I'm not
cut a 15-second promo about this show that we're on with Sorg right now. 15-second promo.
I can't do promos to save my life.
Do it, Zeke. Tell me about it. Tell me about
it. The people need it.
What are you going to do? Zeke, what are you going to do to coronavirus?
What are you going to do to coronavirus, brother?
See what's going to happen, brother. I'm going to take my time. I'm going to bed. I'm not doing promo.
What?
Damn it!
I don't do promos, bro. Like, I can't do promos like that.
This is an opportunity. You got scores of the wrestling community in the chat room for you right now. You got Rev on here. You got a picture of Kevin James over on that webcam looking at you, being all chill. Now's your opportunity, Zeke.
No, this is not the opportunity.
Vince could be watching now.
What are you going to do, Zeke? What are you going to do? Piss or get off the pot?
Vince could be watching right now because he has nothing better to do.
Does he now? No. I'm good. Why is that? Can you stop? Brad, put that away, please. This is really freaking me out. Like
he's got a beer. It's good.
It's just looking at me like I don't need that right now.
Is this better?
No, because I'm not 21. I can't look at
All right,
that.
if you're on audio, he's got a giant picture of Kevin Can Wait and some other great CBS properties over there, by the way. So
it was just giving me the stare. Like, I'm so disappointed. Like,
mm-hmm.
yeah, I know.
Yeah,
Zeke, I'm disappointed. As your wrestling uncle, I'm disappointed. And I see Jordan's on here. Jordan will tell you.
Got the chat.
Listen, I'm a hard up wrestling family member. I'm highly disappointed.
Everybody's asking, is he holding a Corona in that picture?
You know what?
It looks like it.
Dude, that could be a Corona.
It looks like Corona with like a Heineken label. Now that I'm looking at it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's see here. I'm pretty sure it's a Corona bottle, but it looks like the brim of a Heineken label.
No, I'm not 21. I can't tell you. I'm a child.
just stay with that. Just stay with that. I love shit, Zeke. Just spit Zeke, just spit something out. Nobody understands you anyways.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Just start speaking in Swahili or something.
I mean, I could, but I'm pretty sure my Swahili is bad.
What? Look, do you think anybody here knows if your Swahili is bad? Listen, I'm not going to tell you. I don't know. Sure. I don't know the stats in our Swahili listening audience on this show, Zeke. But I don't think it's enough that's going to write us letters. I wouldn't understand them if they did.
No one's gonna be like, person. Your Swahili was beginner level. I took 4 years of intermediate Swahili when I was in high school.
Hey, what does well actually sound like in Swahili?
Was what?
Well actually.
Well, actually, I don't know. I can't speak Swahili. I'm pretty sure you just offended.
There you go. Right there you go. I just cut that whole promo right there. Only needed 7 seconds.
There you go. We have some requests for people to join the show, actually. So we're going to see what we can do here. So I mean, so what do you again, we're looking at 8 weeks at this. Like,
I'm sorry. Can I just mention this?
Yeah, go ahead.
I just saw the dude Radford put on here. My 3-year-old just cut a promo on pooping, and Zeke can't say 2 words.
Oh no! I'm gonna drop some drop-ins here if you guys are ready. If you're hopping in, it's open. I can't imagine when we're going to do a regular version of this show in the near future. So if this is what this show is becoming for the time being,
it's just
so
like
be
a
it.
roast Zeke session.
Hey, can you imagine this, Sorg? We're right at the beginning of this pandemic.
Yeah.
We stay away from wrestling shows for at least about a good another 2 weeks to a month, a bare minimum. This show can very well get off the train tracks, no matter who you got on it, because.
Yeah.
We're hallucinating without wrestling, dude.
Especially there's something like this. But I mean, what do you guys see? I mean, we have Empty Arena. WWE has put out 2 of these, and tonight, as of this recording, we're before AEW and NXT are going to go through. How do you think that exercise has been going between that? If you've seen some of the indie products of what's been happening, and how do we kind of still keep that interesting for people to keep them into wrestling?
I think it's go ahead, Zeke.
I was gonna say it kind of reminds me of practice matches, like they're just holding like practice matches. But someone else said who's not much of a wrestling fan was like, it just looks awkward because like my girlfriend, she's not much of a wrestling fan, but she gets it. Like she understands the whole showmanship of it.
Yeah.
But she said like when it's someone like it's like someone did a cool sequence or cool shine in the beginning, you need that pause to be the showman part, and it's like there's nothing there. What can you do?
Mm-hmm.
So like I understand people who don't like it, but one critique I heard was like they should pre-tape everything, or a promo should be like backstage something, and just have cool matches or whatever interesting matches on the show. But if Raw wants to have 3 hours of just people putting in chin locks, all right, cool. I'm not gonna watch it anyway because I don't watch Raw, but that's how people see it.
What about you, Rev?
Yeah, I mean, kind of going hand in hand with Zeke. I think for anyone it's kind of awkward, but at the same time, I feel like there's a little bit of a learning curve within all of it. Personally, with me, and this is just from a person on the outside looking in. There are other ways around it. I think this would be a great opportunity if they could to at least trim back some of that time. I don't know how that'll work with the network, but this would be a good time for people. Oh my goodness, we got another person there. This would be a good time for the people to start to pitch the WWE network a little bit more, at least from that main stage of things.
Yes.
And then from another standpoint, I think what better way to set an example on how to kind of still stick through things, like Zeke was saying. A lot of times I told people at training, I said, in general, watch everybody. Have a diversified, list of studying that you can watch from your WWE, AEW, Ring of Honor, New Japan, the higher tier indie wrestling companies like Evolve or so. But at the same time, right now, I say for students, it's a good time to watch a product like WWE. I mean, these are guys and females that are making millions, some just six figures, but still they're going out there. They're having to project because there's no crowd. They have to cut these promos and keep you interested because they're still live on TV. And, our whole thing, and I know Dean can speak to this even more as a trainer, you perform how you practice. And, by preparing to fail, you fail to prepare. By failing to prepare, you prepare to fail. So if you cannot do this at 100% with an empty arena, how do you expect to do this already there muscle memory when there's a live audience and you have those nerves and those juices running? So from a training perspective, I think that this is a great time for people to watch that product. But from a person on the inside looking out, sometimes it's a little bit hard. I mean, as wrestlers, we feed off that energy. Even when watching home, we feed off the crowd's energy on how they're reacting, even there in a live, arena based on when we're watching at home. And, I know what that was pending with like WrestleMania and everything. It's going to be hard no matter what you're watching. It's going to be hard not seeing that crowd there. Some people said even just put in some audio tracks just to be able to hear something. May make it a little bit easier to kind of stick to, especially when you're going 3 straight hours.
We gotta get somebody popped in here. Dean Radford is joining us, veteran in the game. Dean, how's it going?
Yo, good, man. How are you?
Yeah,
are you in the bathroom?
Listen, don't judge me. I'm shaving. I'm getting my goatee going. I'm rolling. I'm chilling. And I got to listen to Zeke talk about how he can't cut a promo.
Thanks, Mr. Radford.
Listen, my daughter comes in. She talks about, Daddy, I pooped on a potty. And I did it myself. And I wiped. I said, oh, Zeke can't even cut a promo.
Dean, how are you coping with this? I know you were working on a show that was just announced before all this went down. That's definitely got a question mark on it now. How are you dealing with this? What were you thinking when everything was going down last week?
It's just to touch on Rev, like with the whole no crowd thing. It's kind of funny seeing the video of them stopping during the commercial breaks. Did everybody catch that?
Yeah.
It's unfortunately, it's one of those things where they probably took a little bit of a lashing, like, what are you doing out there? This and that and the other. But, Rev, how many times when we're training, and Zeke, you don't show up enough, but you may have heard this once the one time you showed up. How many times you heard me say, if you can't go in there and work a broom, then you shouldn't be working?
Very true. Very true.
You either got to have an invisible, somebody that's invisible that you're working with, or, you got to act like nobody's there. I mean, look at some of the tryouts. There's no fans there, but you still have to act like you're on TV. That's why when you're doing these shows, you're in front of these crowds. It don't matter how big they are. 10 people, 5 people, no people. In Zeke's case, he gets no people. But, it's, you got to act like you're on TV. You got to mentally put a match together like you're doing TV, because especially guys who want to send out videos and try and get noticed and whatnot. If you don't know how to work TV, you're going nowhere.
Right.
This is why you hear a bunch of guys talk about, don't do 15 different things in a row. Sell it off, get the build up, work the hold, do stuff like that. It's all simple, basic wrestling. But, that comes with learning how to work a television, knowing where a hard cam is, knowing how long commercial breaks are, this and that and the other. But, it's tough, man. I watched SmackDown, I watched Raw, and it was weird, but they really tried their ass off. I mean, you got Becky Lynch posing to nobody. I'm sure some of the boys were sitting behind camera, just kind of watching. I'm sure that some of them were watching the show. But on TV, it looked a little awkward, and you see people kind of chastised, like, who's she looking at? Who's she looking at? Well, at the end of the day, she's doing her job.
Yeah.
She's making the person behind the television think that there's still 10,000, 20,000 people in that arena, no matter what. And as an entertainer, performer going out there, that's their job. So that's my thoughts on that. Zeke,
If I can add on to that, Dean and Sorg and everyone else that's on here. One thing that kind of stuck out to me too. I don't know if anyone saw Beth Phoenix's tweet. For those who don't know, she's married to Edge. I guess something happened with his travel coming to Raw, so he had to drive 17 hours one way just to cut a 5-minute promo in the arena. Now, I know a lot of people are going to dispute and say, "Well, he's getting paid a lot of money. Well, he's this." At the same time, because you're getting paid a lot of money, I know he could have very well easily said no, and they would have completely understood that. So I think that kind of just speaks to us all. If there's ever a time now that you feel like, that you're getting big-headed or you're moving too high up in the ranks, be mindful of what these guys are still doing, to show us like, hey, they're leading by example right now. And I think that kind of speaks to all of us, no matter what level that you're on. At the end of the day, none of us deserve any of this. You know what I'm saying? You get out of it what you put into it. If you don't put anything into it, you have no right to complain about anything. So I think it kind of speaks to all of us. And personally, I can only speak for myself. That humbles me even more and just allows me to understand how fortunate I am to do what I do.
You know what? And it what it really takes. I mean, I don't know about everybody else. I think the least amount of people I've ever worked in front of is like 15. And what had happened was there was a show out in Arizona I was on. The promoter never showed up. This and that and the other. Ron, I was with Nav, and he came in the locker room. And he said, "Look, there's nobody out there. The whole thing's canceled. Let's at least go out and do a battle royal and let those 15 people have fun." But you got these people like Edge, who, as a wrestling fan, if you're not a wrestling fan, if you are a wrestling fan, whatever, everybody was happy to see him return at the Royal Rumble. And then you got this guy stoked about a huge return to Rumble, going to have a huge match, this and that and the other of Mania, and he's doing it in front of nobody. So this big buildup of not being in the ring, and then finally coming back, doing promo school, I think is what they labeled it. It was nice to go back to promo school. But it's think about that guy who's been in the business how long, he's been out for how long, comes back with this big return, only to be promoting an event that potentially could be in front of nobody.
Jordan Styles joining us on the line as well. Jordan, let's make sure your audio is going there. Hello?
You guys hear me over there?
Yeah, we got you.
Oh, we can hear you.
Oh, yeah.
So this is going to be really interesting.
a little muffly with the AirPods, but we got you.
Oh, man, yeah. Zeke, why didn't you cut a promo yet? What's going on with it?
I suck at it. I'm working on it.
I came to you just for the purpose of seeing if you were going to cut one. I was excited.
Oh, no, man. I'll cut one privately for you, so you can critique the crap.
See, that's gross.
That's very sensitive. Yeah, that's very sensible. That's exciting.
What are you going to want to do with his award next?
Yeah, that's terrifying. Now I'm trying to think about that as well, dude. What's the deal with that?
House, Jordan.
No, I stuff whenever we're ready, so we're all good.
Anyways, so Jordan, how are you doing with everything going on?
It's pretty interesting. Like right now, I'm in the media side as well, so it's been nonstop. I'm sure Ronell can attest to that. Luckily for me, I'm more of the inside branch right now, but occasionally I do still go out on stories and stuff. But it's like Ronell said earlier, it's really interesting hearing the panic and the fake news media type thing trying to come out on everybody. Personally, for me, this has been a weird time of respite. Ronell could tell you I do way too many things.
Way too many things.
Around this time, I would be doing pinball YouTube show, band, wrestling, soccer, work, church, and occasional live streaming for video games. So now I'm down to work, live streaming. So I'm getting rest, which is really weird. I didn't know what sleep was for a second there.
You say you're getting wrapped?
Yeah,
that too.
Yeah, that too.
Hey, just to chime in on that whole thing, like, you all pretty much know where I work and what I do, and without saying it, we're still out full time walking through all these grocery stores and seeing all the craziness.
Yeah.
And we're business as usual, but it's a day-to-day thing. Like, these people freaking out. I was in Waterfront with Giant Eagle and talking to one of the managers, and they it was like, watch this, and they rolled out a pallet of toilet paper, and it didn't make the aisle, and I was like, you people are disgusting.
I know.
Wow.
Beast Man was walking around a Walmart in West Virginia and was saying you had to ask them to bring it out from the back where he was, and then he was just dangerously walking through with it in his cart through the store on Facebook Live. Yeah, we had we did have a chat with another friend of the show that wanted to talk to us about what's going on in the grocery store where his actual day job is and what he's seeing out there. So, and I think it's the thing, like, everybody's dealing with different things right now, and to kind of cope with things, I think it's good for us to kind of see where everybody's at and kind of remind that we're not alone when we're not going to wrestling shows, either as a wrestler or as a fan, or not going to your job, or going to your job and dealing with whatever that is. It's kind of what we need to do to kind of get through whatever this is going to be, right?
Oh, absolutely. This is one of those times wherever you finally have a chance to hang with family, you finally have a chance to hang with friends, be able to actually communicate with people. Especially in the social media age, it's something that not a lot of us do. So I think this is an opportunity and time for us to be able to do that. I know, at least on my Facebook, we've been trying to do a lot of mental health checks with a lot of our friends. We've been doing that stuff. This is a really trying time. People aren't working. People are getting it's a scary time. So we're all with each other.
Absolutely.
You know what, too, just to chime in on the other side of things, I got kids who aren't in school, and that makes it tough, too. Like, they're sending all this stuff home, and I'm still working, and I got to be a teacher, and I got to be a dad, and I got to go to work, and I got to provide. Like, it's
Don't worry, Dean. We're gonna quadruple your booking rate.
Look, something's got to happen. Holy. And just a cheap plug, just so everybody's aware, Beast Brawl is still on May 16th at the White Oak Athletic Association, just said. So, but, we're still planned. But no, it's like, the school's being down, and, my kids sent like 3 weeks worth of homework home. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, what the fuck is this? I got to YouTube this because I don't know how to do this. Like, what's going on here? What the hell is second grade turned into? First year of college.
That was the thing. That was the thing I heard. It was like, all the homework went home, and then the parents aren't going to be able to help with Common Core math at this point. So
I couldn't do it.
I was like, I gotta call Zeke. Nope, bad idea. They doing that.
That was actually one of my stories I did earlier this week, as they actually had break elongated like they're pretty much doing everywhere. And I said, hey, they got sent home with schoolwork, and just like you said, Dean, I was talking to a parent, and the parent was like, they sent them with all this schoolwork, and I don't know how the hell to do any of this. I mean, what are they doing out here? And so it was the same thing. I'm like, hey, bro, they might, or at least with the governor in Ohio, that he may consider canceling school for the duration of the rest of the school year. So like you said, Dean, with you being a parent and everything, and others, this puts a hardship on those that still do have to work. And then at the same time, you have to balancing your kids being home at the same time, which naturally we're used to them having to be home at a certain set time. But if both parents are working and schedules, don't kind of alternate each other, it's a hard balance life, I think, for a lot of people.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely, especially here locally too with Pittsburgh Public Schools. They've been sending them home with a lot of packets and all that jazz. And even the lunches, they were giving out lunches to the students. I don't know if they were doing that in Ohio, but they were giving out lunches with that. They're going to have to start discontinuing that. Because a couple of people had started testing positive for the coronavirus. So, what are you going to do?
Yep.
I mean, that's an interesting perspective coming from Dean's standpoint with being a parent and all these other things. A lot of people don't realize what exactly everyone has to do in situations like this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, hell, I leave in the morning at 4 o'clock, and then I'm getting home at 5 o'clock, and I still got to do all this wrap up going on with schoolwork and everything else. And, it's bad enough trying to wrap yourself around whether you're going to go to work today or not because of everything going on.
Mm-hmm.
But then to come home and, do all the schoolwork and everything. I got 2 kids in school, so it's like I'm doing double. It's definitely a hard point. And, I'm sure I'm not the only parent out there feeling that, but, it's definitely it's trying, I guess. You worry about one thing, but there's 10 other things on your plate now.
Well, to kind of ease that up for you, Dean. I mean, we got a young, hungry, broke college student, Zeke Mercer. You know, he might be a babysitter. I don't know how that'll work, but
I think my kids would babysit him.
I don't know if you know this, but like some kids,
maybe we'll learn some promo
Hold on,
skills.
everybody got to be quiet because he's talking. Go ahead, Zeke.
I say you got to understand. Like some kids are actually taller than me. So I mean, who's
A lot
babysitting
of
who
people are
here?
taller than you.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure my daughter could hip toss you without you even going. She'd sandbag your ass over.
We've learned so much here.
Especially, like the measuring stick of a Kennywood height requirement.
I've never been to Kennywood, but I guess I'll fail it. You know.
No, you'll be in Kittyland.
Yeah, I would.
Hey guys,
Actually, Zeke's more of an Idlewild Park type of guy.
Him and Daniel Tiger are fighting for the stick.
Yeah, you mean like Storybook Land or?
Oh man, I'm getting roasted. See, I told you, it's a roast section.
All right, so if I can kind of turn this table, and this is kind of the reporter side of things. Sorg, you're always doing these interviews. You know, even outside of these, I mean, you got a lot of people that come in the studio. You know, is it easier for you to adapt? I think with a younger, more technologically sound group like pro wrestlers, it might be a little bit easier to get in contact with us, through media and stuff like that. But for some of those that aren't quite adapt to that, how is that kind of switching up your routine of having people in?
So for me, as far as the wrestling interview, or just kind of work in general?
I think just work in general, because even at certain times, we'll see. Sometimes I think you're on the road more than 3/4 of the guys.
Well, yeah, that's basically everything on the road has been canceled. I was supposed to be in West Virginia with Conquest, Pro Wrestling Conquest on Sunday. I was going to look to go out to Edinburgh for the AON show. I was supposed to be in Texas WrestleMania weekend, so all that stuff is off the table. And with that, for me, it's just the volume of work for me. But we still have podcasts. We still have the remotes. I had clients saying, "Hey, are you still doing shows? Can we do it remote?" So that's still happening. So thankfully we do have a facility and we're able to do this. And when people come in, we wipe everything down, and it's like 2 or 3 people. So it's not too big of a deal. And as I've said on some other shows, we've actually been assisting people that are trying to figure out their work from home situations or whatever the case may be, and just provide tech support to friends and colleagues that and family sometimes that are kind of dealing with those kinds of things. So and if nothing else, I'm hoping conversations like this help out too. I mean, I think we're doing this every night in some form. We're having Pit Fight come in, since that show was one of the first to get canceled. And it was for a good cause. They're going to come in and do some video games on Friday with some of the rosters going to come in. So we're going to still do something. I hope that there's still something to do for this wrestling community, for you guys out there, even if it's just kind of these remote chats like this. Though I do miss having people in the studio. I always will. But it's not turned off. We're still connected, and we can still have these conversations, and we can still have fun and kind of still move the needle forward, right? I'm getting messages even as we go about between clients and wrestlers and companies about, hey, can we do a thing? And how do we do it? And that is exciting, because things are not companies and people are not letting this keep them down, and they're figuring out, okay, this is where we at. How do we move forward? How do we get to the next step?
Yeah, this is the perfect time for anyone to promote themselves. This is the perfect time to be able to get out to do all the special things on social media, because everyone's home.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is the opportunity for everyone to take hold of,
Go where the audience is. Hey guys, we've been hitting almost an hour here. I want to thank all you guys for hopping in. First of all, Zeke, hopefully next time you'll actually cut a promo. I'm still bugging you.
Start writing shit down now.
You guys don't know. About 3 months ago, I said, Zeke, I'm going to bug you at least once a month, and that make sure you're at home cutting promos in a mirror, doing something. I
try. I can't help up.
I will buy your next shirt.
Sorg, I've been telling him that for years. He still hasn't started in the mirror.
If I could tell you this real quick, because I know we're hitting that hour. When I first wrestled Zeke, that was at Black Diamond Pro. I cut that notorious promo. I'll send it to you, Sorg, if you want to repost it. It was a Sarah McLachlan, in your arms, I put it out there. Zeke's promo was like a 20 to 25 second promo of him just leaning on his coffee table. He's like, well, I'm not one much of word, blah, blah. And legit, it was over in 20 seconds. I sent it to Quinn. Quinn said, and Quinn fashion, what the F is this? Hold on, give me 1 second. The next thing I know, it was up, and Quinn messaged me back, said, I told him to take that crap down, recut a better one, or he's getting the hell chopped out of him. And then he cut a slightly better one.
Slightly better. That's why I don't cut promos. I tried, man.
You're Zeke Mercer on the Twitter. Rev, where can people find you?
You can find me on all social media, the Rev Ron Hunt, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Just hit over about 43,000 followers on that boy.
Jeez, man.
I need to follow Rev.
We're rolling, baby.
What the hell's a TikTok?
Okay,
no, we'll have a session on that some other time.
All right. We should just real quick. It's like AIM except with video.
You said AIM.
Going too far forward there.
Look, Zeke's like AIM. He's texting me, Rev. AIM, so I can sound like I know what I'm talking about. Text me a promo while you're at it.
Dean, thank you so much for hopping in.
Yeah, man.
And self-grooming on the show live.
I loved it.
Did you like it?
That was a good thing, man.
And of course, the successful St. Jordan Styles.
As always, thank you.
All right, thanks. And again, all these guys, please go check them out. There's a lot of stuff on YouTube, and of course, I think we've interviewed all of you at some point individually on this show over IndyWrestling.us, WrestlingMayhemShow.com. There's a lot of stuff in the works. We're gonna make sure you guys, as much as possible, are not bored, and make sure you get a lot of these faces in front of you in your time off, and remind who you need to go buy a t-shirt from and go cheer and boo when everything gets spun back up. However, 2 weeks, 8 weeks, whatever it's going to be, we're going to be with you through this. And he's shaving again. Is he shaving again? What are you doing? Are you working on your eyebrows over there? What is that? Oh, he's working on the head. Okay.
I get 3 nice shots, all right?
Don't call the man out.
Wait till he gets the button. Wait till he gets the button.
Yeah. It was bringing me into this fantastic chat. So, I'm multitasking.
You had to bring him for a lighting set,
like, it's his time. It's his time to work on himself. So we interrupted it by sending him the link, but it's like, all right, I'm mixing it up. Thank you so much, guys. So much fun. Thank you, everybody in the chat room. Stay tuned for everything going on. Again, just follow our properties with Sorgatron Media, Mayhem Show, and Indie Wrestling, and we're going to make sure there's a bunch of stuff going on in the wrestling world, technology, wherever the case may be. If you have any ideas for, because people want to start new shows now. It's a good time to start your podcast. We're going to
go underground.
Yeah, or go underground, apparently, or whatever the case may be, or be sprawl, or whatever. But damn it, we're gonna stay with it. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We'll see you next time. Until then, please support indie wrestlers in this time, and please support each other. This show is a member of the Sorgatron Media Podcast Network. Find out more at sorgatronmedia.com.